yeah, on on triangles, you know, we know area is 1/2 base times height for a triangle, and usually, you know, we're not necessarily this shape, but usually we're looking for the height kind of on the inside, but that doesn't always necessarily happen because, yeah, when I have a right triangle, notice here when I do my 1/2 base times height, well, of course, the base here is going to be the 5. But then the height is not, it's not on the inside, right? I can just take the height here as this other leg, right? Because the height is just, you know, how far is it from the vertex or the corner there to the base, and as long as that's a right angle there, that's your height. And so in this case, the height is just the 12, right? You with me there? And so that happens if you have a right triangle. The height is just one of the legs. The base is the other leg. So that's half of 60, which is 30. So we have 30, and I didn't put units here, so the units squared, whatever the units are. Now, this other one I was going to show you has a little bit of a twist to it, I guess we might say. It's similar in that it is a right triangle. All right, so again, find the area. Now, that one I didn't have to do to 1 decimal place, but yeah, they can be a little bit tricky here about it because here, to get the area of this one, I don't want to use the 10 here actually, and the reason is, to use the 10, I would have to figure out what this distance is here, because that would be the height. You with me there? I don't know that particular measurement. And so I can do this a little different way, because if I think about this, instead of maybe think of this orientation, think about it instead, put the 4 as the base. So let's just rearrange this a little bit. So let's put the 4 here, and then this side would be here, and then this would be the 10, right? That's the hypotenuse. So you see what I'm saying here? Instead of doing the base times, I don't know the height that way. However, can I figure out, I still don't know that one, but how can I figure that one out?
A squared plus b squared.
The Pythagorean Theorem, yes. If I use a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then I can figure out that one, which then that'll be, I can use that one for my height. Let's see what that, so that'd be a squared plus 16 equals 100, and so that's a squared, so I'd subtract the 16, right, get rid of this, so the a squared is, what was that, 84? So a would be the square root of 84, which is about, what, 9.2? 9.2? Square root of 84, about 9.2. Everybody with me there? So now, the goal was to find the area of the triangle. Well, the area, since this one's now 9.2, what's the area of the triangle? Well, it's 1/2 the base times the height. And so the base here is 4. And now I can use the 9.2 as the height. With me there? Which that'll be 18.4, I believe. Units squared, whatever they are. Is that okay? Everybody with me on that? Okay. All right, now, the other thing I'm going to talk about that we talked about a little bit last time, use some of the same formulas used last time, is a problem like this. Let's say we have a circle has circumference 10 feet. what is the radius, diameter, and area of that circle? So we know that the circle has a circumference of 10 feet. And we want to find out the radius and area. And in this particular case, let's do them to one decimal place if we need to. Usually they'll tell us what place they want or how they want the answer. But okay, so I want well, since I have the circumference is 10 feet, here's what I have to use. I'm going to have to bring in the circumference formula of a circle. And I know there that the circumference of a circle, well, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Since I started here with the radius, let's use the radius circumference formula. It's 2 pi r, right? 2 pi times the radius would be the circumference of a circle. You could also do pi times diameter, so we could do it that way too. But so knowing that the circumference is 10, and I know that the circumference is always 2 pi r, right? Can I say, well, let's just kind of do a little problem here, a little math problem. I know that the C is 10 here, so I've got 10 equals 2 pi r. And I know, again, you can use the pi button and you get a slightly different answer, but I know that I can use 3.144 pi to approximate it. So you see here I have 10 equals, and that would be the 2 times the 3.14 would be 6.28 r. So what would I do to get r? Just divide off the 6.28, right? Is everybody with me there? Just take 10 and divide that by 6.28, because then that will give me my r, my radius, and then once I have my radius, then I can figure out all these other ones. I said to one place, didn't I? So 10 divided by 6.28 gives me about 1.6. Again, these are approximations here. So the radius would be 1.6 feet. And you could do other approximations there, but I said one. So what's the diameter? Well, the diameter is twice the radius, 2 times the radius, so that would be 2 times 1.6, so that would be 3.2 feet. And then the other thing I wanted was the area. Area is pi r squared. All right. And so that would be 3.14, let's use, times radius squared, so 1.6 squared. So all that gives me about, somebody got it? 3.14 times 1.6 squared, 8.03. So one decimal place would be 8.0, and that is feet squared. Sound okay? So are we with me? Question or concern? Now let me do this other one because, well, for one thing, it's a slight bit different, but it also, the answer, sometimes they'll want the answer like we'll do in this next problem. Is that okay? Any question or concern on that?
Can you leave that up for just a second?
Just leave it for a second? Okay. I'll put this over here then. All right. So this second one here that'll do is this. So what is the circumference of a circle with area 81 pi centimeters squared. What is the circumference of a circle with area 81 pi centimeters squared? And in this case, I'm going to leave the answer in terms of pi. It's how they'll, I think it's how they'll say it. So in other words, in this particular case, I'm not going to round off pi with 3.14. Just going to leave pi in the answer. Sometimes I'll do that. Okay, so what is the circumference of a circle with area 81 pi centimeters squared? Well, again, I know the area. I'm wanting to find the circumference. So what do I need to find the circumference? Well, to find the circumference, I need the radius, right? Or the diameter, but in this particular case, we'll go for the radius. I need the radius to find the circumference. I don't have the radius, I have the area. But again, what I can utilize here, so the area is 81 pi. To find the radius, can I use then the fact that the area is pi r squared? That formula, that's our area of a circle formula. I can use that again here because I know what A is. A is 81 pi. And so I can replace the A by 81 pi. And so again, since I want the answer in terms of pi, I'm not going to replace the pi by 3.14. Okay, I'm just going to leave that in there because it'll work out here. All right, so looking at that, what would I do to find the radius? What would I first do? Well, to find r, I got to get rid of this pi. So how would I get rid of the pi? Well, it's times the r, so I would divide off the pi. That's going to work out pretty nicely because the pi cancels there, but what does it do here too? It also cancels out there too. You can cancel those out. So you just have 81 equals r squared. And so how would I get the r? Square root of, yeah. Square root of 81 is r, so yeah, our radius is 9. Square root of 81, it turns out to be a nice little number there. The radius is 9. I want the circumference though. Well, the circumference is 2 pi r. And so the circumference here would be 2 pi times the radius, 9. And since they want the answer in terms of pi, I'm just going to say that's 2 times 9, 18 pi. And the units for circumference would just be centimeters. But that would be the answer they would be looking for in that case. Yes? Question or concern?